Hi, I'm Sharon Pearson with the 7 Jamaican and Caribbean news items you may have missed for the week ending April 9th, 2021. These news items are brought to you by Jamaicans.com. This week's news. Jamaica's government to provide financial aid to Olympic, Paralympic athletes. The government of Jamaica will provide $45 million in direct financial aid to support Jamaican athletes who are preparing to compete in the Olympic and Paralympic Games in Tokyo in 2021. Olivia Grange, Jamaica's Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, stated that the ministry is collaborating with the Institute of Sports to provide the financial assistance. The funds will be given at 2-week periods from now until the Olympics. Athletes in swimming, rugby, gymnastics, boxing, karate and track and field will start receiving the funds within days. Stipends to Paralympic athletes will begin in 3 weeks. Anglican Church Synod fails to elect new bishop for Kingston. Although Canon Garth A. Minot was the only nominee under consideration to become the new Bishop of Kingston at the 150th Synod of the Anglican Church in Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, the Synod failed to elect a new bishop on the first day of the elective assembly. Minot is Deputy President, Anglican Warden, and a lecturer in Christian ethics and pastoral studies at the United Theological College of the West Indies. Minot received the required votes in the House of Laity, one of the 2 houses that makes up the Assembly, but did not receive enough votes in the House of Clergy. He also failed to receive adequate votes in a second round of voting. To succeed, a candidate must receive a 2/3 vote in each of the houses. The election was held virtually for the first time in the history of the diocese due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The position of Kingston Bishop has been vacant since former Bishop Robert Thompson retired in September of 2020. This week's Caribbean news. St. Vincent declares red alert, orders evacuations as risk of volcanic eruption rises. The Caribbean island of St. Vincent announced a substantial prospect of disaster arising from days of increased seismic activity near the La Soufre volcano, indicating that an eruption is imminent. Following Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves' evacuation order, people will be evacuated to safe areas from North Union to Kingstown on the windward side of the island and from Biruli to Kingstown on the leeward side and the Grenadine Islands. Monitoring stations on the island have reported long earthquakes, suggesting that fresh magma is attempting to reach the surface and that the volcano is approaching an explosive stage. Are you ready to reach the world with your event, business, or product? This weekly news summary is syndicated to over 60 radio stations worldwide. We invite you to become a sponsor today. Contact us at news@jamaicans.com. This week's diaspora news. Measure in New Jersey City seeks to rename street to honor Jamaicans. Councilman Michael Jackson in Paterson, New Jersey, has introduced a measure that would rename a portion of 10th Avenue in the city to Jamaica Heroes Way. The idea has been under discussion for some time, forcing Jackson to bypass the council's street naming committee and place the measure on its workshop agenda. Former school board member Errol Kerr supports the measure and submitted 500 signatures in July of 2019, showing support among city residents for the renaming, which is designed to recognize the contributions made by Jamaican Americans. While the Jamaican measure has not been advanced by the Street Naming Council, the council has approved other naming measures, including changing part of Grand Street to Mexico Boulevard. Kerr believes that Jamaicans who have been in the city since the 1960s are being victimized and not treated fairly by the council. This week's business news. Jamaica's tourism minister expects cruise tourism to resume in August of 2021. Edmund Bartlett, Jamaica's Minister of Tourism, announced that plans are being finalized to homeport a cruise ship from the Norwegian Cruise Line Company in advance of a return to cruise activities that have been on hold due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Bartlett welcomed the cruise line back to the island and stated that cruise activity is expected to resume in August of 2021. The local tourism sector was hit hard by the lockdown resulting from coronavirus, but is expected to recover along with the rest of Jamaica's economy now that conditions are improving. While some concerns linger about the safety of the cruise industry, Bartlett said he is confident that cruise lines are following strict COVID-19 safety protocols and assures the public that all necessary policies and strategies are being implemented to ensure a safe, seamless and secure reopening of the tourism sector. Now for this week's arts and entertainment news. Crime Stop launches new campaign featuring local entertainers. A new campaign featuring artists like Bounty Killer, Savannah and Agent Sasco has been launched by Crime Stop, a non-profit organization designed to reward Jamaicans who provide anonymous information about criminal activity. The new Take a Stand campaign calls on Jamaicans to take a stand against crime. Others involved with the new video advertisement include beauty entrepreneur Tenania, media personality Dahlia Harris, disc jockey Brush Chromatic, and social media influencer Prince Pine. Crime Stop hopes that its new public education campaign will change the culture of silence surrounding criminal activity on the island. In the first 3 months of 2021, the murder rate in Jamaica rose by 6% compared to the same period in 2020. This week's sports news. A record number of Jamaican referees chosen for 2021 CONCACAF Gold Cup. The 2021 CONCACAF Gold Cup, which begins on July 10, 2021 in the United States, will see a record number of Jamaican referees officiating at the competition. 5 Jamaican referees will serve, and among them is Jassette Kerr Wilson, one of 2 female assistant referees to participate in the competition for the first time. The other will be from the US. 4 other Jamaican referees are Danion Parchment and O'Shane Nation, who will be accompanied by assistants Nicholas Anderson and O.J. Duhaney. Parchment and Nation recently completed Video Assistant Referees VAR training in Costa Rica. All the Jamaican referees will now participate in a hectic local and international preparatory program. Thank you for listening to the Jamaica Weekly News Summary brought to you by Jamaicans.com. You can listen to this podcast again at Jamaicans.com. We invite you to become a Weekly News Summary sponsor. Contact us at news@Jamaicans.com. I'm Sharon Pearson and you can listen to me on Fridays at midday at TurnItUpRadio.com, on Saturdays from 11 a.m. until midday at TheEnglishConnectionMedia.com, and on Sundays between the hours of 6 and 9 p.m. at e2onair.com for The Conduit Show with Peter G. Remember, the word is power, and there is power in the word.